Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 February kits. And I'm so happy to be back for another term on the design team. And my assignment for this week is to incorporate punches into my layout. And so I was sorting through the pattern papers and I came across these, and I like the way they look together. I wanted to create sort of a color blocking design, and I have not used these border punches in so long. I've had these for years, and I went through all the ones that I have and I picked out these three. They're three different types of scallops, and so I thought I would create a very textured and layered look with these papers, sort of in a strips of each color. And so I'm going to punch strips of each of these papers using all three punches and then kind of layer them together. And I just like the different shades of pink and then that light blue aqua color. It's more of a light blue than aqua, and then that rich deeper blue color. And so I've got, let's see, two papers from Pink Fresh Studio Joyful Day. This paper here with the stripes is from Cartabella, and then the other pink paper is from Crate Paper. So all I'm doing here is trimming trimming off some of each paper and then punching the edge, and then I'm going to slice that little piece off so I have that strip done. And then I'm going to come in with the bigger scalloped punch. And I think the two darker punches are, I think those are from EK Success, and I got those from Michael's a long time ago. And then my other punch right here is Martha Stewart, and I think I tried to collect all of her punches back in the day, and of course I still have them all, and I don't use them enough, and I don't know why. So I kind of like this assignment today. It kind of forced me to use tools that I hadn't used in a long time. So it's kind of hard to see now because it's all the same pattern, but you'll kind of see how it's going to look here in just a second. I'm going to use both shades of this pink on that Crate Paper sheet. This piece here that I'm punching now is a little bit lighter than the other, and so I was kind of going for a gradient or ombre look in the pink and then have the two blues down at the bottom. And so here I've got everything punched, and you can kind of see I've got all of the three in each color in the same order, and I'm gonna make this kind of like a big chunk of paper to go in the middle of this white cardstock, and that's gonna be the base of my layout. And so this is gonna be a little bit different than I normally do. I wasn't sure what photo to use. I had several on my desk. I had some black and white ones, I had some color ones, and I liked the way they, the color and the black and white looked. Yeah, so I thought I would put the pictures aside because I was unsure at that time, and then just start to piece together the papers here, all the strips. And so all I'm doing is adding a little line of glue to the top and then gluing it and layering it behind the previous one. So now I can kind of move this around as one big piece of paper, so to speak. And I'm gonna make sure it's straight and go ahead and glue it down before I do anything else to the background. And now ultimately what I'm going to do is ruffle up the edges of all of these scallops, and so they're going to kind of stand up off the page and you're going to be able to see lots of dimension and texture. But before I do that, I want to prep everything because I am going to add a little bit of mixed media to this. And so I'm going to start with white gesso, and I'm not going to cover this whole thing. I'm just going to add some of the gesso to a little bit of the scallops, a little bit off the sides, at the top, and just kind of prepare a couple of the areas for some paint here. And I don't want to I want to make sure that the edges don't get stuck to each other. And so before the gesso dries, I'm going to use my little Cricut spatula there that I've had for years and stick it under there underneath each row of scallops to try to raise it up, because I don't want it to get stuck together, because then it will not create lots of texture and it'll be flat, and I don't want to be flat. Okay, so I pulled out lots of goodies here. I've got two of the Opal Magic paints from the color kit for this month, and that's the one I'm using here. It's the pink one. And so I'm just kind of lightly dabbing a little bit of the paint onto this background. I'm just trying to get some different color shades in each area. And like I said, I'm going to try to do a tone on tone thing here. So I'm going to keep all the light peachy pink stuff at the top, and then all of the richer pink stuff right there where I'm painting, and then the light blue, the dark blue, because there are a ton of embellishments that match all of these colors. And so I sprayed a little bit of the Shimmers Sweetheart Vibes. We got that several months ago in a color kit. And again, it's just adding a different shade of pink onto the paper. And again, before that dries, I'm going to use my spatula there to pry up the edges so they still have some dimension. This color is the Teal Opal Magic Paint, and we got that in this month's color kit as well. I'm going to add just a little bit of that to the light blue area. And I love adding paint or sprays or, you know, just whatever the mixed media product is to pattern paper like this to add some shading, because it just makes it look a little more dimensional and not so flat. And I love how you can still see the pattern on some of the paper, but the color just sort of adds something extra to it. That blue that I just used is another Shimmers that we got a little while ago. It's called Frostbite, and it is the perfect match for the blue in that Pink Fresh Studio paper. I absolutely love it. So you can see there, I just kind of dabbed some on there with the end of the nozzle and then use my brush to help smudge it around. So I was trying to find the right color to use up at the top because it's a different kind of pink. It's almost like a peachy, fleshy color pink. And so I pulled out the Pop Art Pink, and we got that in a previous color kit not too long ago. And so another Shimmers. And I like how that looks up at the top. It's not the exact same color as that really light pink, but in the end, I like how it looks. So I'm just splattering and brushing and smudging. And like I said in all my previous videos, the backgrounds always take me too long because I'm never satisfied. I keep going. I take a break and come back and decide, oh, I need to add some more here. I need to add some more here. So yeah, this part usually takes me a while. And off camera, I did use my heat tool to dry this because I, had added quite a lot of water, and I just didn't have the patience to let it sit and air dry. So again, I used the spatula, and then I let it dry, and then I decided to do a little bit outside the square, I guess you could call it. So I'm going a little bit out of the lines here, which didn't surprise me because, I can't have everything looking nice and neat. I have to have it looking a hot mess. So all I'm doing here is going back to those same colors that I used, and in the areas that I put the gesso down earlier, I'm just adding a little bit of the matching color to the outside onto the actual cardstock. Now, I did not add any gesso down here underneath the blue section, but I didn't add too much of the liquid there, so I just went for it, and I think it turns out okay. Because this paper, this cardstock is pretty thick, and it handles things like this really, really well. And I knew down there at the bottom I wasn't going to do any color blending. I was just going to use the one color. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. I let it dry. I used my heat gun, and I did some stitching. I decided to add some straight stitching with white thread through several of the lines. And now it's all dry, and I love how that looks. I love the texture, and the stitching just adds some detail. I think it's really fun. And now everything is permanent. It's not going to move. So I decided to use this photo, and I'm glad I did because I feel like the colors in the background match the colors in my picture. And this picture is a selfie that my husband actually took of him and the girls, and he texted it to me. It was a couple years ago. I had some things to do at home, and so he said, I'll take the girls out for a ride, and you can stay here and get some stuff done. And so they went out for a golf cart ride, and he took a selfie. And I always tell him, if he goes somewhere without me, I'm like, take some pictures, because obviously I'm a scrapbooker. He knows this. And so I'm like, take some pictures. And he's really bad about remembering to take pictures. If it weren't for me taking pictures, our children would have 0 pictures of their childhood. So I don't know if you guys have husbands or family members like that, but I'm the crazy photographer. And so I was very, very excited when he remembered to take this selfie and send it to me. And of course, he just takes one and that's it. I take 50 because, I have to take a bazillion pictures. He takes one, and whatever it turns out to be, that's the one. And so Reese has her fingers in her ears, and the look on her face is just like, what are you doing? And Paige is in the middle of, probably making some crazy noise. And so, and he's smiling, but I love it because that's how they are. And, it's just a shot in time or a freeze frame in that moment. And I love it. And so I printed it in color. I love all the sunny, leaves in the background and the trees, and just a special picture, and I think it's cute. So, and it matches this color scheme really well. So all I'm doing here is going through all of the embellishments that we got, the die cuts, the stickers, the puffy stickers, the Project Life cards, and I'm just trying to embellish tone on tone. So I'm using the light peachy pink stuff up at the top, some of the wood veneer buttons, some of the floral die cuts, and then I'm coming in with a darker pink, the light blue, the darker blue. And this is kind of fun because it kind of limits what you can use, and it kind of dictates what color embellishment can go in which area. So I really encourage you, if you always feel overwhelmed with, what do I start with? I don't even know. There's so much stuff. Kind of limit your color scheme and then go for embellishments that just match that color. And that way you're limited to things. And so in this case, I was looking for things in 4 colors. And I really love that little die cut from Cartabella that's got that old-timey truck on it. It matched perfectly. And even though they're not riding in an old-timey truck, they're just riding in a golf cart, it kind of reminded me of, a relaxing afternoon, just taking a drive. And it matched that light blue aqua color perfectly. And so I tucked it in there. I'm using a Pink Fresh Studio tag, lots of Pink Fresh Studio stickers and die cuts. I'm cutting some of those hearts from the crepe paper sheet. It's got tons of hearts on it, and they all matched, and so I cut some of those out, scattered those around the layout, and I'm going to add a little bit of foam behind my picture there to raise it up. Even though this is a pretty dimensional and textured layout, I still wanted to make sure that the photo was raised up a little bit. And so it was difficult to glue some of this stuff down because of the scallops being raised up and so dimensional, but I just pressed on it and it was fine. And then at the end, when everything is done and it's dry, I can go back and, bend up the edges of things that aren't glued down. So this is pretty much how this layout's going to go. I'm just going to continue to add a couple things here and there. I am going to add in some coordinating tangled thread in a darker teal color, just to kind of add another darker tone of that light blue area. And then I don't wind up using that wood veneer button. I try it a couple times, but I think I don't use it. I'm going to add in some of the darker pink, and I did fussy cut a couple of dark pink or hot pink flowers from one of the Cartabella floral papers. They're right there. I'm going to tuck those in. Hopefully what I'm saying is matching what you're seeing at the right time, because my video keeps pausing as I'm talking, and so hopefully it's all matching up. Sometimes my computer gets in a weird mood and does weird things, so hopefully this is all making sense as I'm saying it and as you're watching it. I'm just going to make sure everything is glued down. I love that little cluster up at the top. I did add some peachy thread up there to match that section. And then I'm going to come in here in just a second and add some blue. I actually have that matching blue thread. I didn't think I had any color that would match it, but surprise, I did. So I'm going to tangle some up and tuck it right there underneath in the bottom. Then I struggled with what to do for the title. I really took a long time to figure it out because I felt like there was no good place for it, because there was no place that wouldn't be covered up. So I decided to do a word in each color on each line using those multicolored small alphas from Pink Fresh Studio. And it's a very simple title. It's going to be Love This Dad's Selfie. So I did love in the peach color, this in the pink, and so on down at the bottom. And so I figured there were 4 colors and 4 sections. I would do a title with 4 words, and I think it worked out. So I'm going to add my journaling, and then here's the final page. I love how this turned out. I love all the dimension and all the texture, and Yeah, this is one of my favorite layouts I think that I've made in a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Here are all the close-ups. I did add in one of those Pink Fresh Studio paper clips too there because it matched. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you visit hipkitclub.com or .net, hipkitclub.net. Let me get that right. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.